I'm going to harvest some carrots today. I planted these back in October 2024. I didn't do a video when I planted them, but I have done one in the past, and I'll put that video in the link. You can see how we do it. If you're not familiar with growing carrots, carrot seeds are really small, really fine. You have to sprinkle them in your rows and then thin them. I'm not into all that. So we use pelleted seeds. They're a little more expensive, but they're much easier to handle and just they work well for us. Pelleted seeds, just a carrot seed, and it's got a clay coating on it. It makes them real uniform. It looks like a little white BB. Anyway, you can handle them with your fingers, and you can put them in the rows, and you don't have to come back and thin later, which is a plus for me. So anyway, we planted three varieties: Gold Nugget, Ruby Pack, and Purple Haze. Let's go. All right, this is the Gold Nugget. Let's get a couple out of here. You can kind of see how these did. Some of them were kind of short and stubby, and then this is what they're supposed to look like. That one's pretty nice right there. We'll leave these here, and we'll come over here to the Purple Haze. We'll check these out. This is the Purple Haze. That one's a little small. That one's pretty nice right there. Let's see what we got here. All right, this is Ruby Pack here. This is a reddish carrot. A little more orange, but they're supposed to be red. If you can see those, okay, let me get rid of the camera. These are really sweet carrots too. I've been growing this variety. This is our third season growing these. Anyway, so I'll bring you along. We planted, let me set these down. These three beds right here, we planted 250 seed in each bed. So it was 750 carrots that we planted total. We've given several away. We've been eating on them for the last month and a half. And what we'll do, you can just leave them in the ground or in the raised bed rather, and just come out here as you need some. Sort of acts as a refrigerator. We can leave them in here not about the 1st of March, and then we'll start getting them all out. You can either can them at that point, or what we do is we share a bunch of them and cut your greens off, wash them up really good, let them get really good and dry, and you can put them in a plastic bag. There's like food storage type bags, not your Ziploc bags, but I don't know what they're called anyway. There's like food storage type bags, and you can put them in the refrigerator, and they'll keep there for 6 to 8 weeks or so. Anyway, I just thought I'd bring you along, let you see what the harvest looked like, and you'll want to stay tuned. Barbie's going to show you how to up pot some of her seedlings that she planted about 3 or 4 weeks ago. So you want to stay tuned for that.
So today we're going to take the lunchbox bell pepper mix that we planted out of the arrow garden and put them into some peat pots. So we're up potting them. Here's can you see that?
Yeah.
Here's the package of the seeds from Johnny Seeds. And we started these about 3 weeks ago. And you can see how healthy the plants are doing. It's a little difficult when you take the plants out of this water bath because they have grown quite healthy, as you can see, and then their roots are way down in there. So it's a little difficult getting them out of the pods. Last year I just cut all the pods apart. So we'll see what happens this year when we go to upplant them. Okay, so now we're at the table. Most people would normally do their plants outside. Don't ask me why we're doing them inside, we just are. So I have this little container from the dollar store, and inside the container I've made a mix of this Kellogg all-natural potting mix for outdoor containers. And I've combined 90% of the mixture is this, and then the other 10% is just some peat moss. Don't ask me why, that's just how I did it. So I also have a coffee pod that's used that I'm going to use to make an indenture into the soil mix for the plants. So here comes the fun part, is trying to figure out how to get these out of the container. So as you can see, the roots have grown down and past. Don't know if I can just pull them straight out. So I'm going to take off the tape part that comes with the pods. That keeps helps with disease control, pesticides or pest, I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to take that off and see if we can pull it straight out.
A lot of roots.
It is a lot of roots. So you don't want to damage your roots because it can stress your plant out. And they have tangled up quite a bit. Not as bad as my plants were last year. I had to cut roots last year because there were so many of them. It's coming out pretty good, which is good because then I don't have to buy more of the plastic containers. I just need more of the peat cells. All right, look at those roots. I only lost a few, but that's not bad. And then, of course, my pot is not deep enough for all these roots to have room. This is the pot I'm going to put it in. So I'm going to start with putting some of my mixture in the pot. And then I take the coffee pod, hold it down in there. It's just easier with your hands. Kind of make press it around that coffee pot. As you can see, the pot is in the center. You get that pressed in. It makes a little, I don't know if you can see that, but it makes a little place for your plant to go. Now, these plants are not shaped like my other plants that you may remember that we did before. So, I got a pair of scissors here. So we'll make a little bit deeper hole down in there for it. And I'm just going to, I think I'm going to have to cut some of these off. Give it a little trim. Stick it down in there and put more soil around it. Plants are pretty hardy. I know people are probably watching this and cringing with what I'm doing, but I think God made it pretty easy to grow things. Otherwise, we'd all be starving to death. And so that's how I'm doing it. So we'll see how they do. The other ones that I have for potting up are some that we planted before. And it's the rainbow bell pepper, sweet pepper mix. And so these have been growing since January the 11th, and they've been doing rather well. The problems with using these pods is that they dry out rather quickly. So sometimes I have to water twice a day. You can tell the roots are just barely coming through the bottom. You can see one right there that came through. I just watered these. I had read that you should water them before you up pot them. I've been doing all my other ones dry and it's easier to do. But I did water these for you today. And then I have some smaller pots. That's not eggplant, but I have smaller pots that I'm going to put these in. And so I'm going to follow the same procedure. Just put the dirt in there, stick my K-cup in there, squish the dirt around the K-cup to make a little house for that plant. Now it's got a nice little hole. I take and rip. You can leave this casing on, but I don't like to think about the plant not being able to grow. And just be careful of the little roots. As you can see, he's got a little root coming down there. Just plop them in there and cover the top up. It could have probably been a little bit deeper for this guy, but I'm sure he'll be fine. And then what you want to do is you want to make sure that you fertilize your plants when you uppot them. And we're going to use some fish emulsion fertilizer, diluted, to water the plants once we get them all planted. Okay, so as you can see, we got all the plants put in their pots. And we were talking fertilizer. This is fish fertilizer. If you want to smell something bad that'll stick in your nose for 24 hours, take a big whiff of this. This is awful smell, but it's good for your plants. So as you can see, it's just a 511, so it's a very low organic fertilizer, and it claims it won't burn. And so for vegetables and bedding plants, bulbs, and annuals, it's 2 tablespoons per gallon. You want to use half that amount on your seedlings, only half that amount. And what we do is, or what I do, is I take the cat litter container, which is quite large, and I mix up my fertilizer so I can use that while I've got the plants inside. It's convenient, a little awkward, but convenient. So if you want to take a look what's inside the AeroGarden after I've pulled the plants out. There's nothing. Because all the plants are gone. That's so funny. This is really easy to use. I don't work for them. They're not sponsoring me or anything. But if you're only going to do a few vegetables or a few flowers or whatever you want to plant, this thing's awesome, because all you do is you put it together, which is super simple. I can do it. Put your water into the fill line. It says fill to here. And then you put a cap full of their fertilizer, which I think is the fish emulsion, and you turn it on, and it stays on, turns itself off, turns itself on. The indicators tell you when to add fertilizer, when to add water, and then this thing here goes up as you grow. So that's it.
So are you saying it's Barbie proof?
It is most anybody proof. Now, if you want to see the other pots, other plants that we uppotted, come follow me. Let me put this one back on its place. All right, so I am the disorganized gardener, and as you can see, I'm using my baking trays and my cake pans because I just wasn't organized. But here's all the plants that we've uppotted. As you can see, we've got this here, I think is a tomato, Excelsior. Oh, it's a cucumber. Excelsior cucumber. This little guy's not going to make it. I'm still holding out hope, but I think he's dead.
Yeah, I think he's toast.
Yeah. But as you can tell, all of them have survived except that one.
Are all of those Excelsior?
They are all, Excelsior cucumbers. These are all our Esterina tomatoes.
Which is an orange cherry tomato. They're very sweet and very good.
Everything was planted on January the 11th, and I uppotted these all last week. Down here, all of our crooked neck squash survived.
It's a crooked neck. How about crooked neck squash?
Well, these are going to be crooked neck, so there you go. Over here, we have a mystery. Let's see. This is sashimi cucumbers. I really, really like these. They have very tiny seeds, and they're just really good, and they're pretty.
Those did pretty good last year.
Yes. Down here on the bottom shelf, we have Cherokee purple tomatoes. All of these made it. Look how pretty. Isn't that a pretty little plant? In this container here is butternut squash.
I'm excited about that. That'll be the first year we've grown that.
So 6 out of 8 made it. I don't figure that's too bad. And on this side, up at the top shelf, this is some more of the sashimi cucumbers, because, you know, this little 8x8 pan only holds so many. This is a sunflower. I started my sunflowers, 2 of them inside. Here's one. Where's the other one? Oh, and back here's the other one. Kind I didn't know how they do inside. Not so good. The rest of these over here,
Zucchini.
yes, they're called spineless zucchini. And so those did really good. And down on the bottom shelf are the things that I haven't had a chance to get to. Oh my gosh, we got a flower. These are marigolds. We planted these on January 11th, and look, we got flowers inside. That is so funny. These are our honey containers. I just use those to me, it's easy to water. I don't know. And we have them. But snapdragons are here. Look how pretty and tall those are. I can't wait for those to go outside. Marigolds, I guess we're going to have flowers inside. Zinnias. Now these over here are a cucumber a friend of mine says she loves doing. And I've had such a hard time with them. So these two in the back came up first, then these two here, then these two here, and it is a Japanese cucumber, and they are very difficult for me to get to come up. I did plant some in the ground the end of the summer and never saw anything come up. So I'm pretty excited. We got 6 of those to see what happens. Well, that's all we've got going on right now, so thanks for watching.